We ran an A/B test. We took half our customers that came in, and we did retargeting of a banner ad just like we normally did. We did this with our Lane Bryant brand. Half the customers we retargeted with a generic Red Cross ad. So it was just a public service announcement with no Lane Bryant branding on it at all. And here's what we found when we did that. So for the people that we showed the Red Cross ad to, our ad cost was essentially zero. We actually had to buy those ads, but they weren't really our ads. So here's what we found. We spent zero, people spent $100,000. So now all of a sudden, what made sense all of a sudden doesn't make sense. Because if you look at the difference between the two, you spent $20,000 in order to drive $20,000 in sales. When you sit there and you say, okay, that's not even break even, right? Because the sales number, you got to take your cost of good out of that. In apparel, it's about 50%. If you're talking about some things like consumer electronics, it's even fairly dramatically smaller than that. So, bottom line is don't spend $20,000 in cost to drive $20,000 in revenue. So we're the only ones I know of that have done a for real A/B test on banner retargeting. Intellectually, it's titillating to think about banner retargeting. In the practical matter, we really didn't see it. So all you banner retargeting companies, I'm sorry, and you can come up and beat me after the conference, but this was a for real test. So now let me talk about, these are things that we were looking at and we were changing as kind of going along. So today, at 8 o'clock this morning, we just did a press release announcing a new launch and some new features on our website that I want to talk about. And these are things that we think are going to pretty significantly bend the curve in our growth. First off is, up until now, each brand has had its own independent website, and you actually didn't know that these were sister brands. There was no cross-brand promotion or anything like that. We looked at what Toby Link had done over at Gap, where they had a single checkout across all their Gap brands. We said, Toby, you're a genius. And because Gap had already done it, it actually made it remarkably easier for us to go, hey, maybe we should do this too, because retailers are like lemmings, right? As long as other people are doing it, everybody assumes it's smart. And if nobody else is doing it, everybody's worried that it might not be smart. So Gap's smart, so we had decided to do the same thing. So we are introducing our family of brands all together for one convenient shopping experience. This is a splash page that comes up when you come to the website, any of our websites. And this is our Lane Bryant site, but as you can see now across the top, we now have each of our brands represented across the top. This is a fairly significant emotional experience for a brand, because each brand, once you get somebody onto your website, you become very concerned that they're going to leak off and go someplace else. And the fact that they're leaking off to a sibling brand is worse than leaking off to a competitor occasionally, because you have that internal sibling rivalry between the brands. But when we sat there and we went to Hitwise and we said, look, when people come to our websites, where do they go after leaving our websites? And when they go after leaving our websites, many of them go other places to shop. For us, they'll go other places to shop like Macy's or JCPenney or OneStopPlus.com. There's a number of sites out there that people will go to in addition to our own brands. And the concept here is, if you're going to have leakage when people leave your website and go to other companies, let's make it easy for the other companies they go to be one of our companies. It's not rocket science, but again, most companies haven't made it easy to do that. Some of them have had links, so Sears does this now. You'll have Sears, Kmart, Lands' End up at the top, but you actually got to check out of your shopping cart. So at that point, that's not a very good customer experience if you got to check out before you go someplace else. So I would encourage everybody to sit there and think through, if you have other things that you can put into your shopping cart, the better off that you're going to be. This is Cacique. If you click over to Cacique, this is our intimate apparel thing. The other thing that we're launching today is two things. One, flat rate shipping, $7. Another idea we borrowed from Gap. And I've been enamored. We did this at Fair Indigo. At Fair Indigo, we did $5 flat rate shipping. Customers love flat rate shipping. If you sit there and you talk to people about why they abandon shopping carts, number one reason is surprised at shipping charges. If you have flat rate shipping that you message up front, you eliminate that problem. You also make it easier then for customers. It's like going to the buffet. Once you paid the money, you kind of want to keep going back and get more and more and more. Same thing here. It's flat rate. just keep adding stuff and there's no incremental cost for everything that you do. Still a lot of companies out there have tiered shipping charges. The more I spend, the more I got to pay in shipping, and that drives customers crazy also. And then free. People love free, right? How many people here offer free shipping? How many people think that free shipping is a P&L killer? No, free shipping is a P&L killer. I'll tell you that right now. You know, you sit there and you offer free shipping, the next thing you know, that's $7, maybe $8 that you just ate. If your average order value is $50, $75, that's over 10% of your revenue, just right there, went off the bottom line. So it's a major P&L killer, unless you significantly increase your basket size, and most companies don't. You don't see huge jumps in basket size that offset the cost of free shipping. But customers love free shipping. So how do you offer free shipping while still not killing your P&L? Here's one of the ways. This is the checkout, and I'll show you here in just a second the other thing I'm talking about. Each of our brands come in. They're each identified with a little logo so that you can see which brand is which. But here's what I want to talk about. We do free shipping if you ship to your local store. So we have 2,000 stores around the country, a little over 2,000 stores. It's cheaper for us to ship to a local store because you're shipping to a business address versus a residential address, so you don't have a residential surcharge. And customers, when they go into the store to pick up their item, they buy when they get in the store. So they sit there and they do impulse purchases. If you can get customers to buy when they show up in the store that you gave them free shipping to, you offset the cost of your free shipping. As best I can tell, we're the first specialty retailer to do this. There have been other ones where you buy online, pick up in store, where you're buying out of store inventory. That takes a lot of work because you got to tie into your store inventory systems, which is typically expensive and hard to do. But shipping to the store, it's no different for your operations than just shipping to anybody's home. You're just shipping to a store. You have to come up with a system in place to tell the customer that the item's at the store, but all of those things are fairly easy technology things. So free shipping to the store, flat rate shipping, having all your brands together. Those are the three things that we just rolled out today that we think is going to be fairly material in helping change our curve. Notice I haven't said anything about mobile, social media, or anything like that. So let me give you some final thoughts, and then we'll take some questions. First, make it easy for the customer. There's a lot of heat and smoke around Web 2.0. Most companies really do a pretty poor job at Web 1.0, so I'd fix that first. Some thoughts on mobile. So here's what's happening with mobile. In year 2000, I just left Forrester and had gone to Land's End, and I was at a conference, and somebody, another analyst from another firm, stood up and he said, 75% of all e-commerce is going to be done on mobile devices within 2 years. So that was going to be 2000 to 2002. And I stood up, I said, I just think you just saw malpractice get committed there. Because when you look at where sales were coming in from, it was at that time, computer hardware was the number one thing that people were buying online, and apparel was the number two thing. And this is before the iPhone, and people were saying, oh yeah, they're gonna wanna try clothes onto little virtual models on your little cell phone here. I go, that's not gonna happen. Or nobody's gonna sit there and go configure their new Dell laptop on a little device. So I still have a hard time believing that mobile is going to have as big an impact as people are out there pushing right now. Here's a couple of reasons. There are some industries that will have a huge impact. If you're in the banking industry, absolutely you need to be all over mobile. If you're in the music industry, absolutely you need to be all over mobile. If you are in video downloads, I think you still, that's another one I'd put, you have to be all over mobile. If you sell clothes, I don't think mobile is going to matter that much. If you sell computer hardware, I don't think mobile is going to matter that much. So there's some categories that's going to matter more in than others. Let me put one caveat around that. I do think that mobile devices, customers coming in with their mobile devices into your physical store and then taking a picture of your item and price checking other sites online, that's going to be huge. I think that people coming into your store and taking a picture of your item and looking at customer reviews that are available online for that item, I think that's going to be huge. So I think the in-store application of mobile devices is going to be big. So if you are a store-based company, you need to pay attention on that side. But I'm going to go buy a bunch of stuff over my mobile phone, I don't buy that's going to go anywhere at all.